Hi, my name is Brenda Titus, and welcome back to my video series, My Year Recovering from Retinal Detachment. If you haven't seen the prior videos, I definitely recommend that you go back and you start at the beginning. This is number 16, and today we will be covering the recovery from the second retinal detachment surgery. So, as a reminder, this is my personal journey. This is in no means to take the place of medical advice, medical intervention, or treatment. There are several links down in the comments section or the video description so that you can learn more about what is a retinal detachment, what are the signs and symptoms, and all of those things. But today we'll be talking about the recovery from my surgery. So I especially recommend, if you have any questions about the vitrectomy, face down recovery, the gas bubble and all of that, I go into very detailed information about all of that at the beginning of my series when I went through it the first time. So this is more just to kind of talk about the second time around. Now, it is true, I would say, that since it was my second time, there were some things that I was more prepared for. However, I think that it was also harder because I'd already been through it once and I knew how challenging the several months afterwards would be. So I do have to be honest about that part. So, and especially I think, and this is something that I'm still dealing with as I'm 6 months out from this surgery, is the difficulty over my loss of vision. So it was one thing to go through it the first time, and then I still had a good eye. With this one, I didn't have a good eye to rely on. I had the eye that was 6 months from recovering from the first retinal detachment. It was very nearsighted, and I was developing the cataracts associated with post-retinal detachment issues. And so that was very, very hard for me. So this is in some respects, largely some of these challenges because it was the second time. So the first issue really was the loss of vision. So I think knowing that I had 20/20 vision, literally, and I had never even thought about the fact that I had such good vision in my right eye before the detachment. But I knew that because even during the medical exams for the detachment, it was very clear that I had 20/20 vision. I could see very well, even in the middle of the retina becoming detached. So I think I spent a decent amount of time before the second surgery kind of with a lot more hope that maybe it wouldn't be as bad as the first, so that maybe my vision wouldn't be as impaired. And so unfortunately, when I went for my first appointment after the surgery, the day after, and they took off the bandages and they did the vision tests, and I had a very big emotional response. All of the signs of a panic attack, the breathing, the I was able to get it together pretty quickly because I didn't want to upset, my husband and the poor lady who was working with me. And I just said, I'm just so sorry, but I just can't believe I'm going through this. And it was hard. It was a very hard day. And so that was the first day, and it got better. I mean, I did the face down recovery. Again, I was decently prepared for the face down recovery. I knew what worked better than some things that worked better than other things. and so I felt very well prepared. I think that unfortunately it was very hard on me physically the second time, and so it was actually harder on me the second time physically. The rest of my back and the rest of my body, I just had different struggles through that time. But it was a week and then it was done, so that was good. I think I also had a better handle on how to manage my eye drops in terms of the timing for the eye drops, so it didn't feel as frustrating, as hard, and so I made it through that as well. And kind of similar with the bubble, I knew what to expect, and so as it was getting better, I was relieved. I had also taken a lot more time off from work. I took a lot more time off. I think based on what I knew from the first surgery. I'll look at my calendar and I'll share that in a future video when I talk about getting back to life, getting back to my life, and so I can make a note of that. But I took a lot more time off, so I was able to just be more relaxed, not have to be stressed about being able to see for my clients and being able to drive and all of those things. So but I did share in my video about the bubble from my first surgery, kind of about the progress and what it looked like. And so as the bubble dissipated, and I didn't necessarily share this the first time around, but it actually breaks up into multiple smaller bubbles. And so I kind of got creative in how I shared that with my friends and family on Facebook. And so I'll share some of the pictures of kind of like how I experienced that, what I saw in, and what it looked like to me. Just, it's kind of fun and interesting to see. So that's kind of how that bubble went. Now, my vision was very impaired at this point as I recovered from the second surgery. So, like I said, actually, kind of what happens with the repair of the retina and the scleral buckle is that it makes you more nearsighted. And so that was definitely true. I was, in fact, very, very nearsighted. I mean, everything that I did was like I'll try to write like this. So if hopefully you can see that. I mean, literally I would hold my phone right in front of my face, and that was pretty much the only way that I could see it. And so during my recovery, it was the time of the Olympics. And so I was like, well, I'm going to stay home and watch his. That was what I did all day, every day, and it kept me busy, kept me occupied, and was interesting and entertaining. And but the way that I had to watch the Olympics, because I was so nearsighted, is that I would use my phone, and then I would use the camera and I would zoom in on the TV, and then I would watch it right up next to my face. So that was like if I was going to watch it with my husband. So if my husband was home, that was what I would do. I would put a selfie stick right in front of my face, zoom in on the camera so that I could see what he was seeing at the same time as me. And I would do this sometimes with my iPad, have a bigger screen, but other times with my phone. And my gosh, I was a child of the 70s, and they told us, you watch too much TV and you sit too close, you're going to hurt your eyes. And I really don't think I don't think that's why I had a retinal detachment. However, it was kind of bringing back some of those old memories from back then during that time. If I watch TV by myself, I had learned from the first surgery, I was watching TV all the time on my phone, and then I could just have it, right in front of my face. So I actually learned that idea. I don't know that it would have ever occurred to me to have gotten my phone so close right into my face to be able to read it or to watch TV. But when I mentioned that in France, I'd gone to a hospital emergency room that was specific for people who had eye issues. And so I had seen another man that was there who was so nearsighted that he was holding his phone right up next to his face. And like I said, it would have never occurred to me to have done that if I hadn't seen somebody else do it. And it's the same as when I had the idea of getting the magnifying glasses, or even then using some of the special it's not mobility, but adaptive tools on the phone, like zooming in on the phone to make the print larger and all of those things. So, sometimes we learn because we see somebody else doing something or, adapting to their environment. And so that's part of why I'm sharing some of this information with you as well. So, like I said, second time around, there were some parts that were easier, partly because I knew to give myself more time and I was more prepared for what was to come. I think that, like I said, it also made it harder because I knew how hard it was the first time around. The one benefit the second time around is that I didn't have the struggle with the eye drops because I already knew better than to mess around with red eye and dry eye. I already knew what kind of eye drops were my preferred kind. So it was one thing that I got to save myself on. I didn't have to deal with that struggle. And so that was kind of how I spent basically the equivalent of the summer. And in my next video, I'm going to kind of talk about this idea of getting back to life and getting back to work and what that looked like. And as we progress forward, basically, there's going to be another set of surgeries as well that I'll be talking about. And eventually talking about getting new glasses, because that will make me really happy, because that will mean that I'll be able to see a lot better. So that's kind of just a little bit of a preview. I know when I say it's my 16th video, that seems crazy, but I just really wanted to share all these different steps, and it is actually helping for me to talk about it, to share, to have a little bit of a laugh here and there, or to just be honest about my experience, because I do believe that, when we share our experiences, sometimes, other people can learn from them. And so I hope that you've been able to learn something, whether it was because of the topic or just the way that I'm sharing it. And so I just hope that this has been helpful for you in some way. And with that, I wish you a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.